morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Market 144. Took a little bit of a Binkerton. It's not a big deal though. 42.9 is Bitcoin currently. Ethereum having trouble. Called the first Batman head, as you can see. However, this Batman head is going to be a little stunted. See, there's two different kinds of Batman heads. There's Batman heads where they're looking right at you. You see, this dude's looking right at you. Let's go look at another form of a Batman head I was looking at, which would be, what was it? Walton did some Batman heads. Of course. No cookies. The cookies are real against Walton, guys. I don't understand. But I can click on Vertasium. It's just weird. Alright, so there's multiple Batman heads. I forgot the one I was looking at. But there's Batman heads that look to the left and to the right. I think No Limit Coin had a Batman head looking to the left. Alright, you can see this Batman head. Now, if you were to look at Batman from the side, right, you'd be able to see this if it was cocked from the side. So he's looking back that way. Right now, obvious setup for a nice Batman head, super cheap price. You're going to be able to find some really cheap altcoins right now when it comes to closer to this fork, because this fork is not a small one. This is a big fork. There's going to be, you know, we don't know how much money. We really don't know what's going to happen after this one, because the SegWit and the No2X is going to, I mean, I think it's bigger than the Bitcoin Cash dilemma. I think it is. So this has been a debate going on for a very long time, and it's finally going to come to a head. It's just, I'm not quite sure. So it's just crazy because you have the SegWit, and then you have the 2X, and then you have just the big block guys. And a really good person to watch is Crypto Daily for this stuff, because he breaks it down like a fucking gangster. And basically, it's crazy because you have your three groups of Bitcoins going on, and like Bitcoin Cash is looked at more like centralized. And then, you know, if you're listening to CD's video the other day, basically he was saying that we might not know the real Bitcoin, or the core team might be going to a Bitcoin that has a new name. And I do agree that Bitcoin is the biggest thing. Like, the name is obviously the biggest thing for sure. Absolutely the biggest thing, because, you know, just so much advertisement was given to the name Bitcoin that if you were to throw like a Bitcoin 2.0 or whatever the fuck, right? Bitcoin Cash, like. And another thing, are they all three going to have the same symbols? Is this going to be like a ridiculous thing where they all have the same symbols? I don't know what's going on. So I just know that there's going to be a bloodbath in the altcoins leading up to this, in my opinion. I think that it's going to be an ebb and flow, because we're still in early October, right? So what's going to happen is people are going to be dumping their altcoins, and then eventually the altcoins are going to get so cheap that people are going to start picking them up. So you're going to see like this nice little crocodile tooth action going up. And then when it gets to be, you know, a couple of weeks, you might not even know. It seems as though that we're not going to get a market scare like we did last time, because last time no one knew what was going to happen. People were like scared. Is this going to be like a glitch in the matrix? People saw what happened and they're like, oh, you know, we got 2 Bitcoins, everything's all right. So I don't think we're going to have to panic this time in the market. I think if anything, we might see a rush in the market as people want to claim their quote unquote free Bitcoin. And this is the dangerous game people play. People will actually start selling altcoins for a loss in hopes that they get this little boost from Bitcoin. And it just doesn't make any sense, because people were doing that. It was funny. People were selling basic attention token at basically ICO price. And if everyone knows the basic attention ICO, it was sold out in like a minute or something stupid. So, you know, most people didn't get a chance at it. So to be able to get it anywhere near ICO price is a fucking steal, in my opinion. And people were dumping it for that. And you know, you can't get it for cheaper than ICO price. So it's kind of like, you know, these people are just literally either taking a loss or taking break-even money leading up to that first fork with Bitcoin Cash. And then they didn't even gain that much. The stupid thing was like Bitcoin, even if you got your Bitcoin Cash, even with Bitcoin doing what it did, dude, the Brave Attention token was going for like 4 or 5 cents. It's 24 cents right now. That's what Bitcoin only doubled. And even if you add the Bitcoin Cash, you didn't get that much ROI. I mean, you did in terms of like old world. Like, yeah, you doubled your money pretty much almost. But really? Like, dude, you could have 5x'd your money off a basic attention token. That's just one example. There were so many coins like that. And you're going to see so many. And then, I mean, I was looking at Walton. And I was looking at this is going to be, of course, this is going to be one of the biggest targets, in my opinion, because it is kind of a curse right now. And I called the pullback a little bit. I was like, man, this thing's too high. The curse of going too big, too fast, right before this fork is not a good idea, because people will happily piss away 5x gains to get their double form of Bitcoin so they get like 30 or 40% ROI. Like, that's the truth. That's what it is. That's the game we live in. I don't know why people think that way, but it's very lucrative. So I'm looking at coins like Walton. I'm also looking at, the chain links. I'm looking at the coins that had a nice rush. You can already see Chainlink is down. I gotta fix that, guys. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time to fix that, because that's unacceptable. Chainlink took a little bit of a hit. It was down double digits when I first woke up. So that's what you have to keep an eye on, man. I would definitely keep an eye on coins that have recently hit ICO, that had filled out pretty nicely, right? I wouldn't say like just hit ICO, because once the post ICO, you got to give it time to kind of grow and find its price. But the coins like Walton, which it wasn't an ICO, it was just China FUD keeping it down, and it gave it like an ICO type of vibe because it was just so cheap, going for 60, 70, 80 cents. I think it dumped to 50 cents. I missed that one. I got it at 60 and 80. And just to have it rise that fast after the ceiling cracked, and now you're leading into something like November, people are going to get the FOMO. You're going to have the people that are just going to be dumping these coins, because the way they look at it, they say, hey, look, I made a profit off of this coin, and now I want to hop to Bitcoin to try to make a profit off of there. However, they don't know that the fact is it's kind of messy. With the Bitcoin fork, it wasn't like you wanted to get your money right away, right? Because first of all, it took time for exchanges to set it up. You didn't, it was the whole learning how to, export the Bitcoin Cash from your keys. It wasn't just something you could instantaneously do unless you were, fortunate enough to actually leave your coins on the exchange, which is suicide for me. I can't do that game. I mean, if you have a few Bitcoin, that's cool, but like, I'm not leaving any amount of wealth for easy access to my coins on an exchange. So it's not even a big deal. Like, it just really isn't as quick of a flip as people think it's going to be. And I can almost guarantee we're going to see some stupid ass prices. Look at basic attention token. It's like almost 30 cents. This thing was going for so cheap. Look at this. They don't even see the dumps don't account. This thing was dumping to 3, 4, 5 cents on Bittrex. And Bitcoin would have to be 20,000, 25,000 to do what that did. So that's the point I'm trying to hammer across is don't get the FOMO when it comes to the double the Bitcoin, because you end up losing a lot more. Especially if you're selling right now. If you're selling your altcoins leading up to November, you're not going to be able to get nearly as good of a price for it. So just a little bit word to the wise. This price breaker is pretty cool. You can order with no limit coin on this site. I have ordered a few things that are on the way. I just think that's a really cool use case for it. And we're going to start to see cryptos like this more and more often. It's funny because one of the executives at one of the big guys at JP Morgan, not the Jamie Dimon guy, it's another guy. He said something about he looks at Bitcoin as something like airline miles. And I can kind of understand what he was saying, because it's totally false and stupid in my opinion. But I was kind of comparing cryptos, like you're going to have like your burger coin, you're going to have like you're going to have like your fast food coin, your movie coin, you have all that. And that's what he was kind of trying to tokenize Bitcoin, like undermine it as not like a currency, but like it's like a novelty. And I was like, man, last time I checked, I couldn't pay my employees in motherfucking Skyline miles. So I don't know. Like, that's a terrible example. That is such an asinine example that it hurts my brain that he is in charge of so much money. Because even if he is anti-Bitcoin, I don't come out saying stupid shit about fiat. I don't say some shit that's not true about fiat. Like, I don't know. It's just like they're saying... they're so uninformed, it just makes them look bad to anyone that knows anything about Bitcoin. So I don't think it's a wise move that they're playing dumb and just trying to bash it. I think they're just that dumb. I know for a fact people who give humans way too much credit. 100%. I was one of them. I was a hermit most of my life. I didn't interact with a lot of humans. That's why I'm fucking strange and have my own shit and I do my own things, because I never learned from somebody. I learned myself. I did everything myself. This is wholesale organic Dan. Like, this isn't some fucking shit that I read a how-to book to do. And now when I poke my head with this YouTube, it started with the core and all this, like I started to actually interact with people. And I realized, holy fuck, I thought the people who I thought were geniuses turned out to be really, really unacceptably not bright. I'm just like, wow, I thought a lot more of it. And then I started to, when I learned weight loss, I was self-taught weight loss. Everything I learned about weight loss, I learned on my own. I had to study and basically see what hormones did what from multiple sources. So, you know, it wouldn't conflict. And then I would test it in real world and see if it was actually real. With the fasting, I work out fasted. I have 1 meal a day with 2 shakes. That isn't a plan you can find. You can't find that plan on the internet. I created that shit. Just like I created my own, coin investment, how I make money with the cryptocurrencies. And people think just because you're rich, you're smart. And that's so bad, because that's why we have a lot of people first of all, people crave advice, which is terrible. You should never crave advice. Advice is, I don't like advice, because it's hard to advise somebody. It's the monkey and the fish type of situation, right? If I'm a monkey and I'm ignorant to what is good for a fish and I see it underwater, I might say, oh, let me help you. You're drowning, and pick the fish up and put it in a tree. And I say, now you're safe. But really the fish is dying because it can't, you know, it needs water. That's what humans do. We'll go to a country and we'll be like, we need to democratize this. We know what's best for you. And then before you know it, you suffocate and kill the whole culture and leave it a disaster. That's what's wrong with humans. How do you know what's right? How do you know what's right for you? How could you ever know what's right for someone else? That's the whole point. So I'm not keen on, I never give advice. I don't like being given advice. I really am a fan of scraping your knees and watching how it heals and learning from that thing. And obviously you can take notes, like look around and see who else has scraped their knees and how they've healed. But that's an observation. That's you learning. That's not you getting advice. Advice is something that can sway your mindset. It has to be a very thick mindset you have to have. You have to be absolutely proven wrong. Then you don't want to be ignorant. Then you want to be open, accept the new data, and grow from it. But there's just too many people who change their beliefs on a whim because some smart rich guy, quote unquote smart, said something. So, you know, I'm starting to see that these people on top are not that smart, man. They're just in a power position, but they're not that smart. And they're going to be they're going to fuck up a lot like they already have. That's why it's so blatant, a lot of the shit that they do. There's a lot. So the BitIndia thing, I think, is going to be absolutely huge for Bitcoin. These big decentralized exchanges that are starting to pop up all over the world, you have to understand, once BitIndia is launched, you're not going to unlaunch it. These decentralized exchanges can't be governed. They're there. They're in the ecosystem. You can't stop them. It's really an amazing thing, because first we put out money with Bitcoin, and they can't stop it. You can't stop Bitcoin. Now we're going to start putting out these decentralized exchanges, and you can't stop those either, right? So now no matter what happens, we'll always have access to an exchange where we can exchange cryptocurrencies. No one can fucking regulate Ether Delta. You understand? Like, these are huge monumental movements we're making. We have our money, and now we're taking the power. The government can't stop shit. We have our money, and now we have the power to send our money and exchange it for other monies if we want to. And no one can say a bitch ass thing. No one can stop us. And more and more things like the SafeX marketplace. Hey, it might be a fucking safe haven for drug dealers, but either way, when it's launched, you're going to have a marketplace that can't be governed, can't be stopped. You're going to be able to sell goods. You see what's happening? We're taking chunks that can't be untaken. We're making moves that the government can't stop. Eventually, we're going to have a whole society where we can do everything. Trade, we can exchange goods, we can communicate, and it's all off the grid, ungoverned, unregulated. That may sound like a crazy, scary world. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what we're heading to. There's no stopping it. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. Now it's time to put the foundations in place so we make sure that they're mostly used for good. I hate when people say, oh, Bitcoin's used for bad goods. You know what? The US dollar is used a hell of a lot more for those bad goods. If you have a car, people are going to wreck. If you have a gun, people are going to get shot. It's very sad. That just reminds me, it's very sad what happened in Vegas. Holy shit. Like, this world is absolutely going crazy. You're starting to see just random hate and violence. It's just from suppression and fake news and brainwashing and countries pitting countries versus each other, countries pitting countries against themselves. It's a very nervous time to live in. That's why it's a really good time to practice living in the now and being thankful for what you have. People always want to look to the future for better days. Oh, there'll be better days ahead. No, that you have to deal with what's happening now. You don't want to, you want to act like we're already there. You want to know that we're already there. We have to really try to change some of the mindsets. It leaks over into everything. The impatience, people, constantly want to, one of the best ways to make money is to learn something, master it, and give it away for free. That's the best. I've done that my whole life. One of the recent ones was with weight loss. I mastered weight loss. I lost 100 pounds. I became chiseled to the core. And then I gave away all that information for free. All of it. I was teaching people. I remember I was up at 11. It was like 11 p.m. on a Friday night. I was talking to somebody, teaching them how to lose weight. They were so depressed. They were suicidal. And I was spending hours just giving them as much as I possibly could. And then eventually there was just so many people that I had to say, okay, well, if you want me to dedicate all of this time to you, we can set up a package. But it was basically born out of necessity. That's what happens. If you master something and you become really good at it and you give something that you could have been charging for, something no one ever does. Very few people do that. That's how you get rich. You'd be surprised, man. We're in a world where people are shooting each other. It's hard to trust anyone. The mindsets are absolute crap. And very few people are doing that. And if you were to come out as some value beacon, spewing value, sharpened, honed, no expectations, all action, you'd get so far, you tear through it like a knife. You go from 0 to 100 real quick. The hardest thing they say is to make your first million. I agree. But once you're there, and it's not impossible, it's a blueprint. You're not going to get there. It's too hard to get there any other way. It's too hard not to just eat shit as long as it takes, dirt under your fingernails until you get there. It's too hard. It's too cruel. It's too vicious of a world. You got to understand, if you're not living your life, if you're not steering your boat, if you're not waking up and doing what you need to do to put you and your family and friends ahead, no one's going to do that for you. If you're not focused on where your time goes, you're working for somebody. You're making somebody else rich. It's very, very, very important to wake up, steer your ship, understand that the mindset is everything. Starts with a core thankfulness. Master something. I didn't know fuck about weight loss. I was the worst. I was like 320 pounds. I was fucking drinking sodas. I was so unhealthy. You have no idea how unhealthy I was with the lifestyle. I was a fucking blob. And I was like, fuck this. And I just mastered weight loss, and I mastered hormones, and I mastered my mindset. Well, I've been mastering my mindset. This has taken me a while. I've always had a strong mindset, but through adversity, when you finally break, that's when the new you grows. People want to hang on to the old, and they're afraid of breaking. It's kind of like going to the gym and afraid of tearing a muscle. You're never going to grow that way. It doesn't matter how long you stay in the gym. It doesn't matter how many books you read on lifting weights. It doesn't matter how determined you are to go. If you don't lift the weights, you're not going to grow. Doesn't matter how many books you read. Doesn't matter how smart you are. If you don't put it into practice, you're never going to reap those rewards. So it just really comes out to finding what you want to do. What's important to you right now. Health was a very important thing to me. It was a very driven thing to me. And I wanted to have revenge on myself via massive success because I was angry at myself. I was angry. When you look around, you got to be angry at yourself. First of all, stop pointing fingers at everyone else. You got to get angry at the person inside that's letting this happen. Don't make excuses. Everything that's in your life, you have to understand. You have to take account for it, and you have to move on. It's just, you know, when I made my video yesterday, I had not saw what happened in Vegas, and then I saw that, and it had just really thrown me for a loop. Anyone knows me, I just absolutely fucking take that to heart. That shit's very tough, and it really, really, really fucking sucks that this shit's happening. I'm not going to sit here and try to fluffy it up or whatever. It's time to get our minds correct. It's time to build. Look at what we have. Stop focusing on this negative fucking hate. And, I mean, there's not much else we can say about it, right? Just we're going to march into the future with our heads high. We're not going to be cowards. We're not going to be, we're not going to be censored. We're taking back our lives. There's going to be a lot of crazy. There's always some asshole with a gun that wants to kill people. But, I mean, we still have a lot of good in this world. There's still a lot of good, a lot of potential. We have a lot of good to look forward to. I'm just tired of always seeing the bad. There's a lot of good out there. There's so many good people I've met and talked to in cryptocurrencies and out. But this has really given me a chance. And, man, a lot of humans, man, they just want to be, they just want to be something, man. They just want to have some, they want to have some success. They want to have some safety for them and their family. They're just good people. They don't want to harm anybody. And I get that. It's most people I come across. Very few radical, violent people I've met in my life. It's a very small, and the shitty part is it's the squeaky wheel. It's the very speck of fucking human that does that shit that kills, hundreds of people with a gun. And it just, it's just like, it doesn't take many of those to taint the good that is in the world. But I just, my heart goes out there for those people. And all over the world, this is happening every day. Just because it's not on the news, just it is what it is. Can't really comment on it anymore. But I'm gonna kill it there. Cheers, peace.